All right, good morning, 8th graders, future 9th graders. We're going to get started this week. So this week, we're doing Pythagorean Theorem and transformations, tessellations, okay? So we did this back in Unit 1 in the beginning of quarter 1. So the beginning of quarter 1, throughout the entire quarter, I would actually say, because we started with Pythagorean Theorem. I don't know if you remember, we did the Cheez-Its. So kind of try to think back to what we did with the Cheez-Its and the little square cubes that we had. And we put them in squares, and we had a triangle in the middle. So kind of think back, that's kind of what we're doing. So we're going to start with Pythagorean Theorem today. And then the other videos are going to focus on our tessellations, which are our different transformations, rotation, dilation, reflection, and translation, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and just jump right in and get started. So Pythagorean Theorem. Think about what you remember about Pythagorean Theorem. Pythagorean Theorem means I have my legs. Well, what are the legs? It's our A and B sides. Okay, these are our sides, right? Then we have our hypotenuse. We label the hypotenuse as what? C. So let's think about what the formula was. The formula is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Remember that? I hope so. If not, pause the video, go get your notes from quarter 1. If you don't have those notes, pause the video, look it up. Go on Khan Academy or Google. There is a video that I'm probably going to attach because I think we did a video on Math Antics. I think Math Antics did a video. So I'll probably attach that one just to remind you, to kind of help you remember what it was. But C is our longest side. So you have your A and you have your B sides. Those are your shorter sides. Your C side is always your longest side, but the C is also directly across from what? My 90-degree angle. Can you see that? Your C. So when I look at a triangle like this, I'm going to label whatever is directly across from my 90-degree angle. If you remember, this is a 90-degree angle. So whatever is across from my 90-degree angle, that is my C, which means this can be A and this can be B, or this can be A and this can be B. Doesn't really matter. You can interchange the sides. So let's look up down here. Down here, okay, where is my hypotenuse? So if you're pointing on your screen to here, then you would be correct. This is my hypotenuse, which means I can label my other sides just anything. A or B, not anything, I'm sorry. Label it A or B. Over here, I'm directly across. This is a C. I can label them A and B. Over here, directly across, it's a C. And I have A and I have B. Last one over here. Even though this triangle is facing this way, it doesn't matter. It's still whatever is across from my 90-degree angle. And that's it. So if it's asking you to identify the sides, this is all you do to identify the sides. We don't have numbers yet because we're not talking about the numbers in this example. We're just looking at what are my sides. So I know what my sides are. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave that one. I'll leave that one for reference. And my expectation is you're writing some of this down if you don't remember. And I'm also going to make sure that the notes are added to our Google Classroom. So make sure you are checking and either writing the notes, or if you have a printer at home, you can print the notes. But make sure you have these notes. You should have these notes in your notebook, in your interactive notebook, because that's the one I told you can take home, because that was quarter 1 and quarter 2. If you remember, quarter 3, we started a new interactive notebook that's at the school. So your first interactive notebook should be home. And that would be quarter 1 and quarter 2. This was quarter 1, okay? So let's look at an example. I'm gonna draw a triangle. I'm gonna make it a little higher because I wanna make sure you can see the work. And this triangle is not to scale, which means it's not exact. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say, I want this to be 3 inches and I want this to be 4 inches. Now, based on my equation, my Pythagorean theorem, I am going to input what I need to input. For example, you know I always tell you guys, rewrite the equation. That way you remember constantly where you're going, what you need. If this is A and this is B, I'm going to put 3 squared plus 4 squared. Remember, this is called substitution. So I'm substituting the value of my A and the value of my B into my equation in order to find my C. So 3 to the second power, which is 3 times 3, not 3 times 2. Remember that. Remember, this is review. This is nothing new. 3 to the second power is 3 times 3, not 3 times 2. Just like 4 to the second power, or 4 squared, is 4 times 4, not 4 times 2, okay? 4 times 4, 16, equals C squared. 9 plus 16, well, these terms are alike. So 9 plus 16, 25. See how I keep bringing down my C squared? I keep bringing down my equal sign. Please do that. A lot of times, sometimes we get tired of having to write all that and think, oh, I don't need to write that. No, baby, please write it. Please write it. Now we're at the last step. How do I isolate my variable? What is in the way of me isolating my variable? Hopefully you said the 2. My power. How do I undo the second power? I have to take the square root. So in order to undo the square, I have to take the square root. Now, we talked about the square root extensively. I said, if you're thinking of a tree and you've got a tree and the tree has a root, think of the tree as the 25. But somewhere along the line, down in the dirt, is a root where it started. Where did it start? So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Because remember, when you have that equal sign, anything I do to the left, I have to do to the right. So the square root of 25, you can use a calculator for that. You have calculators on your phones. 25, the square root of 25. The base is 5. 5 equals C, which means this answer right here is 5 inches. That's how you do one of those, okay? Pause the video, take a screenshot, because I'm going to move on to a different example. All right. Now, what happens when I actually have my C? So I don't need to know what C is. We'll say, yeah, we'll do 13 inches here, and we'll do 5 inches here. So what happens when I need to know what one of my sides are? I need to know the side. Well, I'm going to do the exact same thing. If you want to label this A, that's fine. We can keep it that way. We can put 5 to the second power plus. Now, B to the second power. What I have seen constantly is students putting this 13 here with B. Now, based on my initial diagram, is B right here across from our 90-degree angle? No. What is across from my 90-degree angle all the time? My hypotenuse, my C, okay? So I do not know what B is. I know what C is. If you forget, label your sides. So if, let's just say, I forgot, Miss T, I don't even remember what it was, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, fine. That's not a problem. Label your sides. I know that this is directly across, which means this is that. Label them if you don't remember. Because what I don't want you to do is continue to set up your problems the same way by saying, oh, this is always B, this is always A, this is all. No, honey, you gotta look at the triangle. Because sometimes they've given you C. You don't need to find C. They already gave it to you. So 5 to the second power, 5 times 5, 25. This is when you should know your doubles. In your interactive notebook, I gave you all your doubles and I gave you your triples. So I gave you your squares and you have your cubes. So that should be in that interactive notebook from quarter 1, quarter 2 as well. Then I'm going to have B squared and then 13 to the second power. 13 times 13 is 169. Now, this is considered a two-step equation. We just finished doing linear equations. We did all kinds of equations. So this is nothing new. This was actually something we started to do in 7th grade when we did two-step and multi-step. So the first thing I need to do is isolate my variable by getting rid of anything on this side getting rid of anything on this side that can go with the other side. So I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. This cancels. Bring down what you don't use. You need to make sure you are doing these steps. It is very, very important that you do these steps, okay? So then I do 169 minus 25. Well, 9 take away 5 gives me 4. 6 take away 2 gives me another 4. And 1 minus nothing is just 1. Am I done? I hope you said no. Because look, this is still in the way of getting this letter by itself. So this right here needs to look like this. How do I do it? Same thing I did in the other example. You take the square root. So that way, the square and the square root cancel each other out, leaving me with B, and then the square root of 144. Use your calculator, or look at your interactive notebook, or memorize your doubles. 12. Okay? So then your answer is 12 inches. That is how you figure out when you have a missing side. So I showed you finding the hypotenuse, and I showed you finding the side, okay? If you need to pause the video, go back to the video, take notes, pictures, screenshots, whatever you need to do. In the assignment that goes with Pythagorean Theorem, if you get stuck, if you don't remember, there are videos embedded in the assignment. There are hints embedded in the assignment on Khan Academy. You do not have to struggle through it on your own. Ask for help. You can record a video of yourself doing the problem and showing me where you got stuck. And then I can respond to that video and help you through where you keep getting stuck. Or you can just say, hey, Miss T, I don't understand how is this answer correct? I don't have a problem answering any questions that you have. Email me, put the question on Google Classroom, or do a video of your question, okay? So this is the first part. This is video number 1. Video number 2 will be coming up next. I'm only doing the videos in 10-minute max spurts because I don't want you guys to be overloaded at one time. Okay? So I will see you in the next video.